I'm Terry Laughlin, founder and head coach of Total Immersion Swimming, and today we're going to talk about competitive swimming and open water swimming. Are they the same or are they different? I have great experience in both. I started out as a competitive swimmer and went from there to coaching competitive swimming. From age 14 to 20, I swam in high school and college. I swam distance events. I trained really hard, did everything my coaches told me, had pretty indifferent success. From age 21 to about 40, I coached competitive swimming and had a lot more success, coaching athletes up to and including national champions and world ranked swimmers. Age 40, I started to get more active in both master swimming and in open water swimming. And throughout my 40s, I was influenced pretty much by the way I had trained and the way I had coached in competitive swimming. In my 50s, I started to realize that what I was doing when I was racing in open water was a fundamentally different activity than what I did when I raced in the pool. And I started to think about it differently, I started to train differently, and I had dramatically more success. In fact, from age 55 to 60, I won 6 national championships in open water master swimming and broke several national records. Have also swum at least a dozen marathons since my mid-50s. And so here's what I realized in that time that showed me how to think about and train for open water swimming differently. And what I say about open water swimming applies even more to triathlon, because as an open water swimmer, when I finish a race, I can hang out on the beach the rest of the day and relax. And if you're a triathlete, you have to get out of the water and then you have to cycle and run for sometimes great distances. So let's look at the difference between competitive swimmers and adult open water swimmers and triathletes. First difference is age. Competitive swimmers average around age 15. What happens when you're 15? Well, you're getting taller, you're getting stronger every year. It almost doesn't matter what you do. You don't have to have great technique, you don't have to have necessarily great coaching. Pretty much you're going to get faster every year just by virtue of getting taller. If you're my age or anywhere from age 35 on, you're definitely not getting taller and stronger every year. It's not getting easier or natural to swim faster. You have to become more efficient in order to hold your speed. So that's a significant difference. Second thing is the events that you swim. Competitive swimming, when you look at the whole range of events, from the 50 to the 1500, all the strokes and distances, the average distance in competitive swimming, or the average duration of a race in competitive swimming, is 2 minutes plus. I would say when you get into open water swimming and triathlon swimming, the average duration of an event is probably 40, 45 minutes or longer. So you're swimming for much longer than a competitive swimmer. The next is the kind of training you will likely do in competitive swimming and triathlon. An age group swimmer, college swimmer, someone in those ranks, typically is training swimming only, one event, one sport, training 12 to 18 or more hours per week in swimming. I'm an open water swimmer. I'm pretty serious about open water swimmer. I'm not at all complacent about my results, but when I'm training a lot, I might train about 6 hours a week. If you looked at the entire year, on an average, I'm probably swimming 3 to 4 hours a week. Certainly a triathlete is not going to be able to devote more than that when you take into account that a triathlete has to train in 2 other disciplines as well. Then you take the venue, the setting in which you're racing. So a pool swimmer is going to swim, as I said, an average of about 2 minutes. They're going to swim about 12 to 20 strokes at a time. before they get a nice restful break coming off the wall in the push-off. And their goal is literally to swim to exhaustion. If you're swimming in open water, I know my goal is not to swim to exhaustion because I'm never quite sure when the race is over. If I'm racing in a pool, I know if I'm swimming a 500-yard freestyle, it's 20 lengths. I know when I've swum 16, I know how far I have to go. When I'm swimming an open water mile, 2 miles, I'm never really sure how much farther I have to go. So I swim pretty cautiously for most of the race. If I'm going to swim with a high level of exertion, I want to know that I've only got another minute or two to swim and that I can sustain that. So certainly my goal is to avoid exhaustion if at all possible. And a triathlete wants to finish fresh. They want to save heartbeats, as I often say, because heartbeats are worth a lot more on land than they are in the water. And the other thing that makes open water swimming really different from the pool is, again, in the pool you swim 12 to 20 strokes at a time, uninterrupted. In open water, you will swim thousands of uninterrupted strokes. And the fact that you never get a rest break means that you have to swim in a way that conserves your energy. You have to swim in a sustainable way. In other words, in order to still feel strong throughout the duration of that swim. In the pool, you're going to have a rest break for your arms every 12 to 20 strokes. And so you can swim with higher arm forces. You can swim with higher rates. In open water, you're going to be swimming for thousands of uninterrupted strokes. And I know when I do that I have to moderate my stroke rate in order to continue feeling fresh. And absolutely at age 62, I know I cannot swim with the rates that I swam even in my 40s. And certainly in my 30s and 20s. There are many different types of rougher conditions. You've got high frequency swells, you've got irregular swells, you've got wind chop, you've got waves coming toward you, you've got waves coming from the side, you've got waves coming from the rear, you've got long swells and all of that. And so in each type of condition, you have to be able to find the right problem-solving activity in terms of the combination of the length and the rate and the lightness of your stroke or the power you put in your stroke. So I've swum races where I had to change the way I was swimming as often as 3 or 4 times in order to adapt to the different conditions. I might be swimming with the wind behind me in a longer stroke with more power and then change direction and be swimming into the wind or have the wind to my side. And I swam with a lighter stroke and slightly reduced the length of my strokes with a main focus on keeping a sense with all that moving water, with all that energy moving around me, of feeling like I was maintaining calm, feeling that I was making every stroke count when the water was rough. So it's a complicated question, and it's really a skill-based answer.